Hello there everyone and welcome back. 2 matches clearly put is not enough, at least I feel like anyway, with my Infestation style type of Tyranid fleet. And I do enjoy the practicality to this fleet. And hell, I would even argue I should have won against Carcer if I didn't get too reckless with my dang cruiser. Never mind the fact that, keep in mind, I did use the reclamation pool which killed off a large portion of my troops as well. Although even then, its positioning probably would have gotten it killed, but I feel like if I had just waited a little bit longer, had a bit more patience, that would have easily been a victory there, or hell. In all seriousness, I could have just left my flagship next to those two drifting Hulk orc ships over by the left side, and the points that would have given me would have guaranteed a victory. Sure, it would have taken some time to kill, especially if I was willing to try and ram as well to accelerate that. I'm just trying to find the actual upgrades. No, that's not it. That's defenses, is it? Yeah, just one defense turn. Oh, okay, yeah. It inflicts 1 damage per second as well. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, I could have slowly killed off those 2 cruisers, and it has pretty good range as well. So if I want to play this properly, if I had a better read of the situation, which can be tricky since after all we were dealing with commandos, that should have easily been a win for me. At least it would have leaned heavily that way, with me having all 5 objectives for at least a good portion of time. But nonetheless, I'm going to play a little bit more, and I think as a treat, although, no, that's not it, that's Bioplasma. I may actually indulge you with that as well, since it works surprisingly well the few times I played it. But I think, yeah, I think I'll actually experiment and play around with the Massive Claw type of fleet and just do some mindless fun ramming and destroying everything. That will be for the next video, I suppose, but it is going to be tricky since you can't really focus down a single target due to the emphasis on melee, and since their shields can be hindered quite heavily, at least for the Eldari and Mechanicus, as well as the Space Marines, but they don't rely on shield damage as much. That can be a very problematic matchup for me, but it's something that I'm interested in diving into a little bit more. But until then, let's just focus on eating the crew, shall we? Okay, so we're gonna have ourselves, oh, this is a merchant fleet, which works just fine for me because you know how easily they're gonna be to destroy the crew. There is sadly gonna be a lot of frigates possibly, if my opponent is at least utilizing a lot of battleships. But interestingly enough, if they decide to go with the tried and true 6 cruiser type of fleet, they actually quite literally cannot afford a single frigate. So the simple matter of this matchup, it can be very problematic with their detection, or it can be really easy for me. One of these two things, there's probably going to be no middle ground if I were to be honest. But let's get ourselves situated, let's get set up, and just get these drones doing what they do best. Since they're slow, they're cheap, and they're perfect for at least grabbing the points without really giving my opponent any valuable intel. And I think for experimentation as well, I'm going to separate these Krakens into, well, not really, what is it, 3? Yeah, 3 different groups there. I was trying to say maybe I had enough Krakens for 4 groups of 2, but no, that's not the case. And yeah, you lost your group, so I gotta keep that in mind. You'll need to be manually controlled, if I didn't just misclick that horribly. And my flagship is currently not bind. Okay, everything's all good. I feel a little bit rusty. It's been a few days, and this is, without a doubt, a very complicated fleet. I'm not gonna lie. Mainly because you have no hotkey button to associate with these feeder skills. That's the main reason it's as complicated as it is. Never mind the dynamics of having to hunt down like invisible prey, having actually no weapons to do damage physically to the hull, or at least I do have weapons, but since I don't rely on damage, this is more of a liability a lot of times than helpful. Let's be honest. And let's see. Everything's going. I was a little bit worried, and there's a lot of ships. I think this emphasizes what we're probably up against, and Although also a less experienced player, since they don't have solid running on these frigates as well. So I can use that to my advantage quite well, but where are they hiding? Hell, let's see, how many capital ships are there? There's 4, 5. So 5 capital ships, and we're looking at 12 frigates. So I want to say 3 battleships, 2 cruisers then, is what it's looking like. And we have audible rushes. Although I don't know if my opponent can abuse it the best. Assuming they are a less experienced opponent, that is. But let's not try and exploit mechanics, because I'm still a little bit uncertain if that's intended or not. I'm going to assume no, because we can hear the Eldari's Wraithbone shifts all day long, and that's kind of an important factor, especially if you're facing off against Eldari. So I don't want to abuse it for that matter if I can help it.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
In all honesty, why am I circling left? If I want to engage them, I want to engage the capital ships head on, let's be honest. And maybe the Krakens could deal with the frigates. It's just a question. I'm trying to think on how many troops they have. It's probably not worth trying to... I do want to experiment a bit, actually. So, I am willing and going to let myself be revealed, but I'm going with this notion, expecting to be pursued. Because I want to see how effective these 2 Krakens are at just living when I give away their position and try and kill off their frigates. Since after all, we have 12 of these dang frigates to get through. The justification is the Tau merchant fleet has really terrible direct firepower, and when you combo that with regeneration on top of 83 armor, these Krakens should survive relatively well, I want to argue. This would be the first real time I am trying to do this in a suicidal manner, though. And they are getting separated, so that helps a ton, if only vaguely. Now.
You have seized a strategic area.
Huh. Now they decide to solid run, which is good for them, I guess. It worked out almost perfectly. But if these are the capital ships, they're what I want to kill the crew of anyway. No. And I can... Actually, they're only frigates. I don't even need to burn a scanner pulse, do I? I just need to actually see them, is the catch. Yep, I am going to get revealed relatively quickly here, so... But let's start by crippling. Oh, we got contact. Actually, let's just kill off 2 of these ships. And remember, these will get marked because of the tentacles, so I don't have to worry about them running off on me. So these look like they're ones that have additional health. You, however, are the opposite. Now, let's begin killing the crew here.
The enemy has seized a strategic
I wasn't paying
area.
attention. Did the feeder tentacles of my Krakens do what they needed to? No, they only got 1 there, sadly. They are Krakens still. Let's not underestimate that fact. Alright. So that killed off a good third of the crew there. The drone's even going to get in on this. In the meantime, let's force a panic. They burnt all their combustion gauge though, so that's a plus in that regard. It's just odd my opponent's now. Well, at least it's showing good control there, but... Oh god, I'm getting carried away here. There's much still to be done. Especially with killing off this 1 ship. And we are in a good, phenomenal position to kill off at least their main durability. I'm just not gonna... Oh, we got 1. Like I said, this is a complicated fleet. Especially with them spread out like this. Oh, decisions. Do I kill the crew of this or go for the flagship? There, that should help seal that deal. I could take these hits well, but again, gonna watch for bombers. Because this can suck in a moment. It can. And I am gonna recall this out in a moment. Or at least teleport it out. I'm just hoping I can get the boring I want first. And I have ramming spurs. Let's not forget about that. Although I am doing a terrible job with my fleet. It goes without saying. Because this is a perfect opportunity to just kill off the flagship right now. And dang it. Apparently my blink just failed me there right now, which is almost a death sentence. Almost, but let's see if we can at least do something about that still, because I can rush out as a death sentence because, of course, I don't want this flagship to die carelessly. Alright, flagship. Get this hit in. And get boarding, ideally. Drifting Hulk again there. Where's the rest of my Krakens? Probably not need here, I suppose. They should be focusing on the capital ships. And a mutiny on the flagship which has no crew, so I don't need to tell you how amazing that's going to be.
The enemy has accumulated.
So just kill the crew off, and then all that's left, really, is a dang little light cruiser. Again, this feels like terrible control, but thankfully we're not dealing with a ridiculous amount of seeker missiles, which is the main benefit, I suppose, of this. And you have really weak armor, especially on the rear. So let's board this, and hopefully that'll be enough to kill the crew off. And my flagship is perfectly safe, so we just need our spore shields, actually, to kill off these frigates. And this is where spore shields are incredibly handy because, of course, the more ships there are getting affected by it, the more damage it will do in return. Yeah, these are only ships with 200 health as well, so just watch them melt right now. Come on. Oh, you already lost the crew. I was wondering about that. Why you wouldn't let me target? So what is left? Not really a whole lot. Aw. I forgot to say good luck. Where are my manners? But even with that said, I don't feel happy about that match because it felt like a frantic mess. Sure, it was really simple for me, I suppose. Maybe I should have just kamikazed onto the flagship. Since at least then my spore shields could have at least taken out the frigates if they were going to try and help. And were they even utilizing bombers? Oh, and I didn't even look at their admiral level, but still. I get the impression it was like a newer player, but they were evading my Krakens really damn well. I just don't recall seeing a whole lot of bombers, just a lot of fighters. Okay, another Tau matchup. A little bit different this time, it looks like. Since we're getting the Protector Fleet, which is, at the very least, is a lot more formidable head-on, just because of how accessible the Seeker missiles are. And each one of their ships basically have a... at the very least 2 fighter bays. Unless you're using emissaries, which are not very practical. Light cruisers are almost never used, the sad truth is. And it saddens me. I want to play with the Sauces more specifically, kind of see if there's possibilities for like the... Not Monka, yeah, it's Cao Yang style. I almost forgot what the two stances did there. And maybe, to some extent, have them like solid running to get their extended range until they're in position to use a gas cloud maybe for like, of course, a trap, which is kind of what the Cao Yang style was supposed to be about. The patient hunter waiting until the perfect moment to strike. And the light cruisers kind of benefit nicely for that. But that is a match for another time. And since they have a little bit more crew, well, even then, 2 Krakens should be enough to kill off a frigate if I can get them for the full 12 seconds. I would just need to connect with them for that period of time for that to really matter. And let's see, this is, yep, this would be my 3 frigate fleet here. Alright, we're all looking good except for the reload stance. And then we should be good to go. What do I honestly expect from my opponent? There isn't really a lot of cover for them unless they want to stay way back in this gas cloud, which is one thing I can benefit off of here. And I also kind of forgot to mention that they did fix the spore field bug, which made the spore field last indefinitely. If I remember, I don't know when it was fixed though, but it now lasts the proper 2 minutes like it was intended. Which is a little bit unfortunate for me since I rely heavily on being hit in a lot of the time. But it's something I'm going to have to keep in mind that I can't use it like as an additional cover for me. And I'm hoping my opponent's there. It wasn't that long ago since my last match after all. Either way, we'll see. And now let's reorganize this fleet some. Alright, Salt rushes with a tiny bit of latency. Okay, well that's interesting. And they do have a mission dissipator, which is fine by me. But if I remember correctly, there were only 5 ships there. And that looks like a light cruiser. This is interesting. We saw him right off the bat, of course. I didn't get a chance to prioritize like I would have wanted. But we did see him nonetheless. Although 2 Krakens should be able to deal nicely with a single light cruiser.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
I just now need to corner it. Is the main thing. Because it almost feels like this is some kind of like, oh, Demiurge. I was gonna say. Well, you know the easiest thing I could do? Just not even engage these ships. Not in the traditional sense, at least. And I wonder if even the bodies of the Tyranids even counts as wreckage for the mining laser or the cutting laser. Since that does work now. We're gonna have to try and find our friend. And the best thing I could possibly do is attack the crew when I'm behind them, because these things have ridiculous turning speed. And hell,
You have seized a
my
strategic
opponent,
area.
I don't want to say this is a brilliant play, but he's pushing wreckage with his fleet. I don't want to say that's brilliant there, because it could have just been convenience. Because once they expend the laser, that can charge them up again, maybe.
You have seized a strategic area.
Alright, so it is boosting away. I'm not going to have an easy time spotting it. Let's get ready to eat the crew. I don't even think I need to commit so much with my frigates. At least for now. I just see. Yeah, 4 boring actions will basically kill this crew off.
The enemy has seized a strategic area. The enemy
So just
has
cripple
seized
these
a
things.
strategic area.
Like I said, I don't have to commit to much anything. And I am in the beacon as well, so unfortunate, but I can use that to my advantage. Because now everything else could just stay hidden. Just hide, get hidden, and wait for my next opportunity to just eat the crew. Because yeah, that just killed off 2 sirs right there, so effectively you're out of the fight. At least you don't have the cold arms did what was needed. So hunting down the light crews is probably a terrible idea, but now I can eat up more of the crew here, and these again are probably perfect for dealing with these things. Especially now that the beacon's kind of expanded. Continue walking into my fly trap. Gotta be mindful of ramming, but because it's difficult to ascertain. Let's see. Now let's get these out of here and kill off our one little friend. Actually, I don't even need to reveal myself. Just get these out of the way. Do a better job controlling these ships, that's the important thing. Nope, did I rush with everything? Which was a little bit unfortunate because the cruisers kind of already went.
The enemy has accumulated 25% of strategic points.
I am going to have to start doing some serious damage, but safe to say you're screwed right now. Now start going with the rest of the fleet, please. And ideally... Oh, we found a light cruiser at least. So this is a perfect opportunity to try and grab that before my ships die off. Sadly, the morale bonus is not going to mean much. Oh, it doesn't even have the morale bonus, if I were to be honest. Can we kill off these crew quickly? Because now the light cruiser's in a panic. Sadly, boarding torpedoes are not very helpful in this exchange. But if I'm so lucky, maybe I might be able to board these while he's not paying attention. Now get these Krakens going, because, yeah, they could turn off this one ship. I was just on the edge, then I got a little bit impatient. It could take the hits at least, so there's always that. Now, chase after, and actually, yeah, let's go after the light cruiser. Probably a terrible idea, with that all said, but it's prompting a response, which I can enjoy. So now get ready to jump the hell out is the main thing.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Of course, it happened again. That was annoying as hell. And did I mess up on that, or did they just reactivate it? Either way, let's see if we can finish boarding this thing. Because that would be pretty good right here. Torpedoes not going to hit. I did sadly take a huge amount of cutting laser damage, though. And I'm going to be boarding in a moment. That is unfortunate. Because this is now dead.
Accumulated 75% of strategic points.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I could have probably done that a lot better. Because we're crippling these ships incredibly well, too. They still have enough health, though, to make it that I can't do anything about it. And hell, even killing the flagship would have meant nothing. They didn't even have the morale bonus ability.
Victory by strategic points.
I just got a little too aggressive for my own good. And the flagship suffered for it. Hell, the cruisers definitely suffered for it. So yeah, I should not have gone after the light cruiser at all, since it offered me nothing really. If I were to be serious. And we were doing nice boarding damage in general. I just didn't get an opportunity for my torpedoes to really connect and do much. So this is game, alas. It was a worry about maybe losing by the objective because of how long we were taking. Since, well, after losing all my ships, it was kind of punishing. But these things did have ridiculous turning speed as well. And honestly, once I kill off multiples of their engines, then that becomes less of a problem. Yeah, they didn't even have the additional morale. So again, light cruiser I should not have gone after, dang it. That was a bit of a liability. When really, when the Demiurge loses their engines, they are all but useless. Outside ridiculous turning speed if I get too close to them. Alright, we're face off against Drukhari this time. And this is going to be an interesting one. Since they have really good health, they're going to be dodging me, avoiding me as much as possible. But I do have the convenience, sort of, to mark them if I ever connect with one of my strangle tentacles. Even if it's just to pull them in so the rest of my fleet can kind of tangle them up. That is a possibility. And we are also dealing with impalers, I would imagine. And thankfully all my ships are kind of equipped with defenses against that. Really damn well. My Krakens, on the other hand, are kind of sitting ducks, but they could burn up some charges too. This is again assuming we're going with what? The one carrier ship and then 2 other impalers? And let's see, 9 boarding actions. I'm trying to see, yeah. That's enough for 1 impaler squad, assuming they all connect to just kill a Kraken straight up. So I don't think I want to get too aggressive with them, but at the same time, I have enough Krakens that their impalers will basically run out if I were so bold, but I don't think I want to go that route. I want to try and keep these things alive because they're going to be amazing for later on. Once this drags out a bit, and hell, Drukhari is likely going to just run down these these drones before I even get the objective. That's another concern I have. So I like to try and protect them, but how the hell am I going to advance, let alone secure more points? I can get these easily enough. It's this middle one that's the complication, if I were to be honest. It doesn't matter which side of the map I'm on. And also, let's prioritize components quickly. So 2 frigates over there. Ah, I want the engines, damn it.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Okay, with that said, we do have audible rushes as well. So this will be interesting. Sadly, I did not get the mark I would have liked there. Well, I could prioritize them and hit it after I reveal them, but we'll see if that works out. All I know is there's 2 flagships on the right. Or 2 battleships, rather, on the right. And hopefully that won't give away my position too much. Hopefully. Sadly, these were identified, but I do have chemionic skin. So we'll see what happens here.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Because we might be able to grab this point and use these guys as a bit of a buffer. I would have liked to rush a bit more, because killing these is going to be a big deal. And we have 1 ship there, which is probably the battleship. So let's keep that in mind. How much damage did we do to these things? Not a whole lot, but...
You have seized a strategic area. You have seized a strategic area.
We'll see. Actually, I was gonna hope maybe get these guys rushing forward. Krakens, let them take their hits some. Hell. They're no longer marked, so that's always a plus. Do I get the ram attempt? No, I do not. Now I'd love to mark... Nope. Hold that thought. And this helps a bit here. And you got lances apparently too, which is interesting to say the least. Just kill off the crew. And I didn't want to go that direction, but it is what it is, I suppose. And oh yeah, that's the flagship. We should try and run this thing down really well. Try to. And flagship is being revealed currently, but not a big deal yet. We got a lot to focus on, needless to say. So, impalers are all but useless. That's the 1 plus here. I'm sadly being overwhelmed a tiny bit on the control front. And I'll be able to get a good boarding run on them momentarily. Because you don't have any fighter bays on this thing, I realize. Not as much boarding damage as could be, but I did not get to prioritize the engines. That's a big loss there. A lost opportunity. So recall that, get the flagship. Try to anyway, which easier said than done, I suppose. And you just grab this point. And there are still frigates around, let's keep that in mind. My opponent's just not utilizing them right now. And sadly, fighters are gonna be denied in a moment.
You have seized a strategic area.
Oh no, never mind. The fighter base have gotten access, so. Oh, never mind. They're gonna be hitting now. That's a shame. I can at least get these objectives for the time being, but that wasn't what I wanted in the slightest. More fighter squadrons is probably what I needed, but I didn't quite have the mobility to chase them down either way. And I am going to have 4 objectives momentarily. Just got to get my fighter bays up and ready. And what was marked? Thankfully, flagship is hitting. Hey, come on, fighter base. Fighter base failed me because of this horrible positioning they had. They launched out, but they did absolutely nothing. I can regenerate my crew though, so let's make this count. So I'll be able to jump there in a moment. Kill this. And you are dead. No questions asked. Now, let's just get the rest of my fleets going, I suppose, because I'm doing a terrible job of that right now. Like I said, I'm doing a terrible job of that. Also, let's grab these points, because you're also burning retros, something I did not really consider too much about.
You have accumulated 50% of strategic points.
Now, what's next on the agenda? Well, just regenerate the crew again is the big thing here. I did lose a third of it, but I can negate that damage really well at the same time. And if possible, maybe I can ram that thing and kill it that way.
The enemy is seizing one of your strategic areas.
So minimize the crew damage.
You have seized a strategic area.
Now, let's see if that does enough, although I did lose contact. But I am getting the strangled tentacles at least. And if I can kill that, that'd be amazing, but... I think that's official there. That thing is officially fucked. I don't think anything else needs to be said, although it's best to ensure the point, or make sure the point hits home. And also, yeah, you can't regenerate crew yet, so you're going to be down to a third. Now, I want to chase this thing down now. This is gonna hurt, but this will basically seal the deal. Yep, this is pretty much over now. Oh no, you're not. Oh no, you're not. There may be very little use for the hook tentacle, but we just found one of them. I'm gonna take great enjoyment for that embarrassing loss against Tau, and I'm gonna unleash that rage upon you, my poor adversary. Although, you did reactivate the flagship, so it's not quite over yet. But it's as good as over, let's be honest. With 5 objectives about to be secured, and this about to be destroyed in amazing fashion. Oh, never mind, it is over. I just figured the flagship we left the Hive just float there would have still been visible. Okay, I can feel good about that win now. I can feel good with my life. It's still a damn tense match. It goes without saying.